Hi everyone, thanks so much for tuning into my channel. So today I'm going to be making lasagna two ways. So the regular lasagna, with the pasta sauce and lasagna sheets, which my kids love, but me and my husband really try to stay low carb, low to no carbs. And so this keto inspired lasagna is going to be perfect. I'm going to be using sweet potato as well as zucchini instead of the lasagna sheets. It's still going to have the cheese and the tomato sauce and the ground veal, and so still going to have the essence of a lasagna but without the carbs. So stay tuned for my lasagna recipes two ways. Because I'm making two lasagnas, I'm going to use a lot of ground meat. So I'm using 650 grams of ground veal. I'm using one large onion and 4 cloves of garlic, and I'm just going to chop the both of them up. They don't have to be chopped finely since they're going to be in the sauce for a long time and they'll just be cooked into it. This is 4 pieces of fresh basil that I'm going to chop up as well. If you don't have fresh basil, you can use about 2 tablespoons of dried basil. And now for the seasoning sprinkle. This is about 2 tablespoons of pink Himalayan salt, about 1 tablespoon of black pepper, about 1 tablespoon of oregano, and about 2 tablespoons of rosemary. Now I'm adding the onions and garlic. You can always re-season the meat later on once it's cooking in the sauce, so that's why I'm just kind of eyeballing it here. I'm going to add the basil a little later because I find that it can taste a little burnt if it cooks for too long. But if you're using dried basil, you can add it at this time as well. And then I'm mixing everything together. This is a lot of ground meat, so I'm going to take my time to mix everything together and make sure that the seasoning is mixed in well. And I use ground veal instead of beef because I think it's more tender and it picks up seasoning really well. But I've also used ground chicken, ground beef, and ground pork as well. I put my pot on the stove on medium heat. Now I'm adding some olive oil, and then I'm adding the ground veal to the pot. I'm going to cook this for about 20 minutes uncovered. I'm cooking this uncovered at first because otherwise I'll get too much water in the pot from the steam. After 20 minutes, I'm adding the fresh basil, 2 bottles of pasta sauce, and about half a jar of water, and I'm going to mix. So the sauce looked too thin to me, so I decided to add 1 more jar of pasta sauce. That's better. So this is going to cook covered for another 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, I'm turning the stove off and I'm going to add a bunch of spinach. I love adding spinach to pasta sauce because it has such a mild taste and it'll add a lot of nutrients to the lasagna. This is a good time to taste the sauce and see if you need any more salt or more oregano or any other spices. And now it's time to assemble the first lasagna. I'm using a dish that's about 11 by 17, and I'm using oven ready lasagna sheets because it's much easier to work with than having to boil the sheets and then try to put them in the pan. I've added 1 layer of lasagna sheets, and I had to break up a few at the sides just so that it fits into the pan. And now I'm adding a good amount of the pasta sauce on top. I'm making sure to cover all the sheets with the sauce, otherwise it'll be hard when it bakes. And now I'm adding some ricotta cheese, which we love in lasagna. It makes the lasagna nice and creamy and it has a nice mild flavor. And this is a combination of mozzarella cheese, smoked cheddar, and jalapeno that I grated earlier. And the layering continues. I'm doing a total of 3 layers, ending with a sprinkle of the shredded cheese. This is going in the oven on 350 degrees, lightly covered with foil for about an hour. In the meantime, I'm going to get my sweet potato and zucchini lasagna ready. I have 3 zucchinis and 4 small sweet potatoes. I don't have a mandolin, so I'm going to do my best to slice the zucchini and sweet potato as thinly as possible. These sweet potatoes are so small because they're organic, but if you're using regular sweet potatoes, you may be able to use just 2. This is a smaller dish than the other one. It's about a 7 by 11 pan. My first layer is going to be sweet potato because I need a solid base to start off with. So I'm layering the lasagna the same way that I did the other one. And the second layer is going to be some of the zucchini slices. The last layer is going to be a combination of the sweet potato and zucchini slices. This is going into the oven on 350 degrees for 1 hour as well. So the first lasagna is done, and I'm cutting this one into 12 squares. You can serve this with a side of green salad or broccoli or cauliflower, and this will be enough for dinner. It's cheesy and well seasoned and so very good. The low-carb lasagna is ready as well. The sweet potato, sauce, and zucchini are such a nice sweet and savory combination. It's just as good and filling as the other one. I was able to get 8 good-sized pieces from this one. Thanks so much for watching, and if you like this recipe, please click on that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, take care.